Alright guys, back with another video. So we have an angry Canadian who has started to realize that he has been duped by Mark Carney. And this is something that we've been talking about on this channel, and other channels have talked about it too, where people are starting to realize, 5-6 months in here, this guy isn't all he's cracked up to be. After the most consequential election in our lifetime, which is what he said, he takes an extended vacation after working for 3 weeks. They've been on vacation since June. But that's coming to an end as of September 15th, and Pierre-Poilievre will be back. He'll be getting sworn in, and he's going to have a lot of receipts to go after the Liberals for. And this gentleman here, I don't know his name, but this is posted by East Coast Hunter. It says, Canadians are starting to realize they've been duped by Mark Carney. So let's see what this guy has to say. Now, before we do get into this, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help grow the channel, and I appreciate you guys so much for that. So without further ado, let's have a look, and then we'll talk about it.
Good morning, folks, and happy Sunday. Or is it? I mean, we have the new 2.0 carbon tax coming out. We have Carney telling us that...
That is the Clean Fuel Regulations Act, which I believe has already came out as of August 27th. Which is essentially a new carbon tax, because a Clean Fuel Regulations Act is going to punish you if you use carbon. They're going to punish you through your wallet like a tax. Except this time, just like Pierre-Poilievre predicted, we're not even going to get a rebate. And they quietly just snuck this through. A lot of people, including myself, didn't even know it was coming into effect as of August 27th until August 27th. But the Conservatives were on top of it, letting us all know it's back. Just it's called something else, and now there's no rebate.
Ukraine's war is our war. We have Carney telling us that Muslim beliefs are our beliefs, that we support Palestinians, or the Palestine Hamas bullshit. He's sending billions of dollars around the world, but spending $0 in Canada. Says that he's going to be bigger, faster, moving, never seen before speed to build infrastructure, houses, and that. Oh yeah, he said all that during his campaign too, and yet still nothing's taken place. Not a house been built.
Startups are down, by the way.
Built. Not even bills put forward to repeal Bill C-69.
Because they've been on vacation.
What he has done, though, and what he has done is just cost us billions, lost us jobs, lost us investors, lost investments in Canada. Businesses are moving to the States and or other countries, or
Crown
just
Oil.
canceling out and folding because they can no longer maintain the high tax rates and all the regulations that Canada has and all the red tape they have to cut through just to make changes. He's allowed immigration come in by an atrocious number, way past the number he agreed upon during his campaign. He says a lot. Talk. That's what I hear. But absolutely zero actions. Well, not in Canada anyways. I mean, he's flying all over the world on our tax dollars, spreading all the carbon around that we're supposed to be paying for to keep the world green, but yet his roots are in Europe, so he spends every chance he gets, he's jumping on a jet and heading over there. And he takes his wife and her husband or whatever that is, and his she daughter, and off they go, and yeah. But we need to have a carbon tax 2.0. Clean fuel regulations. Just another fancy word there. Again, more talk, but that's what he's going to do to us, though. He's not going to help our infrastructure. He's going to drive more businesses out of here by adding these new wonderful taxes to our companies, which then pushes it back to the consumer, which, that's us. Yeah, that's us. That's what Carney's doing for us. Yeah, he's trying to suck us dry so we become so dependent on the government that we are so generously happy to every little handout they give us and the tiny homes they move us into while they continue to live like kings and treat us.
And again, with the whole tiny homes thing, if you're going to build them and they're going to be tiny, they better be really cheap so that it's temporary. Right? If you're like myself, right? I would move into a tiny home temporarily if I can buy one for 40 grand. You know, you'll have that thing paid off in 5 to 10 years easily. And then you sell it, and you have now a good chunk of money for a down payment. And again, don't stop with just building mini homes. Build decent little bungalows for 100 grand or 150, and then like a nice but basic 2-story home for 250, and you can move on up. That's what you're supposed to be able to do in this country. But now you have nowhere to start because everything, like if you look at Hamilton Center, okay, I don't know exactly how much the house I'm renting would sell for, but neighboring houses have sold for $500,000 to $600,000. These are fairly good-sized homes, but they're old. They've been paid for over and over again, and they're still getting $500,000, $600,000, $500,000 or more to live in an older house in the center of Hamilton. It's not exactly a nice area. Violent crime is way up here. And housing is supposed to go down the worse the neighborhood gets. It's going up. Why? Because there's so many people here and not enough of them can buy a house. But every time a house gets put up for sale, at least for the most part, you got a bunch of people bidding on it, which is going to drive up the house price. We need to cut back on the number of people coming in, send some of them home, and start building houses like crazy. Not fancy ones, just basic startup homes that can be sold for cheap. Is that what's going to happen? Or are they going to have us just, hey, here's your tiny home forever, and we're going to charge you $2,500 to $3,000 a month to rent it. You're not even going to own it, because remember, you're going to own nothing and be happy. Well, that's what they think.
Just like peasants. Glad we have pierrepoilievre on our side, fighting every day with every inch of his body that he has to protect Canada and Canadians. And yet you ask, what has Pierre done in the past 20 years? Could you only imagine how much worse off Canada would be if we didn't have Pierre fighting for us? I'd hate to think that. I mean, I didn't think it could get much worse, but I suppose it really could get much worse.
Yeah, we could have someone like Doug Ford or Aaron O'Toole, who we had running in the 2021 election, who is basically just a blue Trudeau. Doug Ford he's a red Tory. He's a liberal running as a conservative. That's why he does so well in Ontario. A lot of people who vote for him also voted for Justin Trudeau or Mark Carney. So how conservative can the guy really be? But that's what the Liberals want. They want another extension of themselves as the leader of the Conservative Party. That's why they hate Pierre. That's why they're scared of him, because they know he's different. They know that when he talks about, ending wokeness and, hey, we got to cut back on immigration, we got to get housing built, he wants to do things that help the middle class, or the liberal agenda, the liberal WEF elitist agenda, is here to make sure that we own nothing. And then smile and thank them for it. Pierre's against that. That's why they hate him. That's why they call right-wingers Nazis. That's why they compare him to Trump. That's why they fearmonger so much. And the sad part is, a lot of people believe it. The swing voters didn't. The swing voters were just duped because Trudeau was gone and okay, now it's safe to vote Liberal again. They're realizing now they made a mistake. And this government isn't going to last 4 years. I really don't think that even the NDP would be stupid enough to prop them up again. They want party status back. And even if Mark Carney said, okay, guys, I'll give you party status, keep me in power, they don't get any money. How it works in the election is, if you have official party status, you get a lot of your money, you get rebates. So you get a lot of your money back that you spend. When you lose official party status, you don't get it. So the party, the NDP, is, their status right now is broke, and now they're going to be even more broke because they don't have a way to get any money back from the election. Why would they prop up the Liberals? Their job is to now restore themselves once they pick a leader, gain some money, gain some popularity, help get an election called so that they can get their official party status back.
Yeah. Castle Law, great idea, Pierre. Great idea. And I hope Dougie Ford wakes up, takes off his liberal jumpsuit, and plays conservative and asks his Auditor General there to amend the law and screw Carney. But Dougie's so deep up Carney's arse, I don't know if he'll do that. You know, you either choose the guy that's giving you money, or you choose the guy that you should be supporting, which is Pierre. Who do you piss off, right, Dougie? But just remember, it's us Ontarians that voted you in, and it's us Ontarians that can ask for a non-confidence vote and vote you out. So just remember that. So you got to do what's right for Canadians.
Well, the problem, like, he's right, but the thing is that he's actually growing in popularity here. Ontario is a very strange province. Again, you will have liberals, hardcore liberals, who will vote for Doug Ford. I don't, for the life of me, understand why. I know elections are popularity contests, but how can a conservative get liberal votes? The conservatives are apparently the evil right-wingers that everyone should be scared of, but yet they're not scared of Doug Ford. But then I also know a lot of liberals who do hate Doug Ford because he's a conservative, but I guess they don't like the liberal candidate enough. Maybe they stay home. I'm not sure what it is, but if you're not from Ontario, I know a lot of you are out in Alberta. If you're trying to understand Ontario politics and how we vote and why we vote, good luck, because I don't get it either. And I've been here my whole life.
Yeah. Liberal sheep, you supporters there of the liberal people, you know, I love your comments, but can we try something more than the same 5 you use all the time? I'll give you a couple. What has Pierre done in the last 20 years? You know, Pierre costs us $18,000 a day to have him do nothing. And I know you guys say all this thing because you liberal sheep are just as scared as Carney and the rest of the liberals there that Pierre's going to get in the office because we need to call a non-confidence vote. We know it's got to happen.
Not yet,
liberals
though.
are just completely out of control, costing us billions of dollars every day. So I'll gladly take Pierre's $18,000 check.
Yeah, I mean, considering what the liberals are costing us, they're about to spend like $100 billion this year. 18 grand a day is nothing compared to, I don't know what 100 billion divided by 365 is, but it's a lot more than 18 grand.
Versus Carney and the liberals' $1 billion a day check of deficit, yeah. But anyways, if you want to leave some comments there, Mrs. Liberal Sheep, please try to be a little bit more original, not so much
or
2
smart.
years ago comments. But let's have some constructive discussions. I mean, instead of your just hate stuff. You know, see, I always figured it this way. If you don't agree with a liberal, you're bad. But if you agree with a conservative, it just means that you're a good person. You care about others. Give it some thought. Have a great day.
Yeah, very interesting. So, and again, I don't know who this guy voted for. It sounds like he was a Pierre supporter, but there are a lot of people who are saying, oh man, we voted for Carney and we're expecting all these things, and yeah, he hasn't been in power that long, but like housing startups are down. They said that projects were going to be coming in at lightning speed, and what's happened? Nothing. They built an office so they can talk about building projects at lightning speed. These guys are out of their mind. But they got in power because they played the fear-mongering game. It worked during COVID. And it's working again. And now that they know that they have something that works, they're going to keep doing it. Every time we have an election now, you're just going to see the Liberals create some sort of boogeyman to scare the swing voters, and that's all they need. If they can just scare enough swing voters, they're going to win. So swing voters and furthermore non-voters, you guys need to wake up. And I'm not saying you're stupid or whatever. You're probably just like me and didn't think this was important until recently. It's important now. Politics, it matters because the policies that are being created are out to destroy you if you're in the middle class. So if you are in the middle class, which most people are, and most people see that it's disappearing, and that rent is becoming unaffordable, and the job market sucks, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you need to understand that, hey, no, the conservatives and liberals aren't on the same team here. If they were, you would not see the liberal fear-mongering in what they say about Pierre. You wouldn't hear that, far right-wing Nazi crap or so-called Nazis who weren't really Nazis, obviously, showing up to the Freedom Convoy. They're desperately trying to make you scared of them because they know Pierre is different. He wants to go against their agenda. Now, we'll have to see if that ends up being true or not. I have a hard time trusting politicians too, guys. But if you're going to trust one, give one a chance. Give it to Pierre. Because he needs a chance. And if he screws us, I'll be here calling it out too. But he needs a chance so that we can restore what was once a great country and now is a banana republic, a country in shambles. In the very near future, you will either be rich or you will be poor, and most of you by far, me included, will be poor if we don't smarten up and elect Pierre Poilievre to be our Prime Minister.